Update 2. We hadn't talked for a year. Suddenly my dad wrote me, "Let's forget our grievances, come to dinner." I came. There were tears, laughter, hugs. "We miss you," my sister said. Then I accidentally opened their family chat. Okay, he believed me. The next step is to re-register the house. I smiled and said nothing. After 3 weeks, karma hit hard. They begged me nonstop, "Please help." I agreed, told her it made sense, handed her a form I printed from a fake USPS change of address template I found online, told her to fill it out and I'd mail it. She smiled, called me a good boy. She actually said that. I never mailed it. I kept that form in a file with everything else. By the 3rd week, they were almost living at my place, not full-time, but enough. Ellie stayed over twice. My dad brought his old stereo system and set it up just for fun. My mom filled one of my cabinets with her vitamins and tea. I watched every move like a chessboard. Then, like I expected, came the final pitch. My dad sat me down with a serious tone, said they'd been talking, that maybe the house needed to be under all of our names, just in case something happened. He said it like it was a favor to me. I acted surprised, then grateful, told him I'd think about it, but I already knew what I was going to do. After that conversation, I told them I'd talk to someone about the paperwork. I gave them just enough hope to keep them leaning forward, thinking the hook was in. They didn't realize I'd been 2 steps ahead from the start. That night, I printed out a fake co-ownership agreement, completely bogus, just something that looked official enough to get a reaction. I left it on my coffee table, partly filled out. I made sure it was visible the next time they came over. It didn't take long. My mom spotted it before she even sat down. She didn't say anything at first, but I could see her eyes flicking back to it while she poured her tea. When she thought I wasn't looking, she picked it up, studied it. I acted like I didn't notice. A minute later, she asked if I needed help understanding the legalese. I told her I was taking care of it. That same evening, my dad brought up utilities, said maybe they could start paying a small share to ease my burden. Ellie mentioned she'd found a cute rug for her room and asked if she could order it. They were speeding up. I let it ride. Then I made my own move. I started calling contractors, loudly on speakerphone, talking about installing surveillance cameras around the house, upgrading the security system, adding motion sensors. My mom said that sounded paranoid, asked what I was worried about. I smiled and said, "Oh, just in case something happens." A few days later, I took it further, told them I needed their full names and birth dates for the trust paperwork. They gave it to me instantly, like they'd been waiting for that moment. I told them it would take about a week, and after that, I'd set up a family meeting with the notary. What I actually did was set up a meeting with my lawyer. I gave her every photo, every recording, every email and message. She documented everything, created a timeline. She even ran their names to check for anything suspicious. Turns out my dad had already looked into legal avenues months ago for family property disputes. They were fully invested, but I wasn't filing anything, I was just watching. Then I stopped replying for a couple of days. Ellie texted me 3 times. My mom called twice. My dad finally sent a message, "Let's not lose momentum. We're almost there." I waited 24 hours and wrote back, "I know." Then I sent a mass text inviting them to the house on Sunday, told them it was time to finalize everything, said I had papers ready and needed signatures, even said I'd cook. They showed up exactly on time. My mom had a cake. Ellie brought her laptop. My dad wore a button-down shirt like he was headed to a job interview. I sat them all in the living room, then I brought out the papers. They weren't trust forms, they were copies of the chat I'd seen, every message printed and highlighted. I laid them out slowly, page by page, like a dealer with a winning hand at first. No one said anything. My mom was the first to speak, said I was taking things too seriously, that it was just a joke, just a misunderstanding. Ellie stayed quiet. My dad asked how I got the messages. I didn't answer. I told them what I'd been doing, that I knew from the beginning, that I'd recorded everything, that not a single step they took caught me off guard. Then I dropped the last piece, the lawyer, the full report, the evidence, the intent, the potential fraud. I told them I wasn't going to the police, not yet, but that they needed to leave my house right now and never come back. My mom started crying. My dad asked if we could talk man to man. Ellie looked like she was in shock. I stood up, told them I was disappointed, not angry, not even surprised, just done. And as they stood there, trying to figure out what to say next, I told them the last thing, thank me for not pressing charges. And for the record, I don't owe you anything. Not anymore. They left without another word. I closed the door, locked it, and this time, I knew they wouldn't be back. After they left, I didn't hear from any of them for a full week. It was the quietest my phone had been in months, no texts, no calls, no surprise drop-ins. The silence felt clean. I half expected my mom to come storming back, trying to argue her way into the moral high ground. She didn't. Maybe she was too stunned, maybe she was ashamed, probably not, though, with her, shame rarely stuck. But then, right on cue, the unraveling began. Ellie messaged me first, late at night. I didn't know everything. I just thought it was about reconnecting. I swear. I didn't answer. Then came the call from my dad. He left a voicemail, which he never does, said things had gotten misunderstood, that I'd always be his son no matter what, and that this whole thing was never meant to hurt me. He sounded tired, desperate. 2 days later, they started showing up at the gate. First it was just my dad. He waited by the sidewalk for nearly an hour, pretending to talk on the phone, then he left. The next day, it was Ellie. She stood there with a paper bag in her hand. I watched through the blinds as she placed it on the ground and walked away. I didn't open it. Later, I tossed it in the trash without checking what was inside. By the end of the week, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. Turned out to be my mom, Calling from a friend's phone. She said she needed to talk, that everything was falling apart, that the landlord at their place had given them notice, they were behind on rent, and now he was kicking them out. We thought you'd help. I asked her why they thought I'd help after everything. She hesitated, said something about blood being thicker than water. I hung up. That's when the begging really started, text after text from all three of them, promises, apologies. My dad said he'd sign anything I wanted, just please let them stay until they found a new place. Ellie said she had nowhere to go.